Welcome everyone. My name is Mark Schwarb. I am in my live studio here in Daytona Beach, Florida. I get the privilege of presenting the headwear presentation of today's seminars and classes. Those of you that are coming over from Jen Johnson's seminar on polo decorating and so forth, I'm sure you learned a lot there. I'm excited always to talk and demonstrate cap decorating. I think I put myself forward for this because I'm a self-professed hat aficionado. I wear an awful lot of them. I enjoy decorating them and I enjoy showing people how to decorate them. Behind me right now is our Cap 360 hat press. I'll be demonstrating live for you here real shortly. We'll be putting emblems and patches and some heat transfer vinyl products directly onto the caps live so you can see it in action. I'm going to start this seminar or my class here with a brief PowerPoint. I don't particularly care for them. I'm going to go through the slides pretty quickly because I like the action better. I like the question and answers better. I like to give out free tips that can make you money. And we're going to roll right through the slides, but they are important to lay the groundwork. Speaking of groundwork, a little bit of housekeeping. I have John Laux working the controls behind the scenes. John is our national sales manager. Did a presentation of his own earlier in the day. I'm sure it was well attended and you got a lot out of it. If you need to chat in a question as we're going along, John will gather those and feed them into me at some prescribed times for question and answer. So do write down or keep your answers close at, or your questions close at hand, and I'll get you the answers as I can. So moving over to a screen share just to give you the PowerPoint. Okay, so again, you're coming into my seminar regarding headwear as part of the Heat Press for Profit series that Stahls, as you know, puts on for free. This is our second version of it, and we're more than happy to do it each and every time. We're calling the series the Playbook, and of course I had the headwear portion of this, and again I announce myself as Mark Schwarb. You're going to have my information at hand when this is all over. I don't mind at all everyone having my phone number, my email address. I think it's part of the profile for the speaker series, and you can look me up. There is within the Pathable website that brings us all together for this. You can write to me directly. I will be getting emails, for days after this, and again, going out and get you the right answers as quickly as possible. So don't hesitate at all to reach out to me with your questions and follow-ups after this. Okay, headwear. So we're in this industry, or we're considering being in this industry of wonderful apparel decorating. And it's really exciting here at Stahls to put you or get you closer to being into headwear decorating, because it is a huge segment of the overall apparel decorating industry. For years, apparel has dominated. You've got obviously embroidery decorating methods, screen print decorating methods, heat transfer vinyls and transfers, direct your garments in many other ways. But for headwear, the huge preponderance of headwear decorating up until now has been embroidery. Here at Stahls, we're helping folks get involved in headwear, doing the decorating on an upper level. Transfers are fine, but we now have a broad assortment of patches and emblems and so forth to really help your headwear decorating stand out. Put it up against embroidery anytime. Use it in conjunction with embroidery for that matter. And I will show you a hat in a minute that emphasizes that. We want you to consider and put some study into what is trending. Watch TV. Watch the Olympics right now. This is a perfect time, a wonderful opportunity to see what is going on in headwear. I have been watching. I do pay attention. I can tell you that hats I'm seeing are definitely decorated with a heat press and some form of an emblem, a silicone, a vinyl of some sort. So know what you can go after, pay attention like you do with your shirts and other products. And I think you're going to find a real sweet spot in headwear, some vacancies that you can go fill. What fits your market? In other words, who are you serving now? If you have a lock on t-shirts, you want to do more polos, can you also get hats sold in with those? Can you sell a polo and a hat as a bundle? Can you take some promotional products and put them in a hat, again, as a bundle? Yeah, what market are you in now? Are you in promo? Are you in apparel? Are you in sign? Who knows? But there's a lot of hats to be sold out there. And then how will you decorate them? Well, the answer is right here. The Cap 360 IQ from Hotronix, Stahls company, is going to put you in hat decorating like never before, and very inexpensively compared to embroidery, let's say. So do bear with me, and let's get through this. When we come out the end, I think you're going to agree, for well under $1,800, you can be decorating caps in just after the delivery of the press. Some things we're going to press: twill patches. That is a printed patch that we produce. We laser cut the edge so it won't fray, and it has a permanent adhesive that you can apply, and rest assured it won't peel off, because it'll be very similar to how some professional hockey uniforms are done, emblems and patches in other sports garments, now brought to you for hats. 3D emblems, that is another word for what we call flex style. Plus we have puff embroidery that gives a 3D effect. So 3D emblems are the modern means of decorating caps that really does separate a hat decorator with a hat press from an embroidery decorator. Embroidered patches, while they emulate embroidery, they look like embroidery, they only require a hat press. The $25,000 or so investment that an embroidery head costs, you can sidestep that and come into this headwear decorating professionally with embroidered patches. And maybe the star of the show, certainly trending with a rocket for us, is leather patches. I don't know that we really had a grasp or a handle on just how many leather patches could be sold out there. But as you look further beyond, say, sports and corporate, while they will sell there, there's all sorts of outdoor opportunities. The outdoor enthusiasts, the fishermen, the campers, the cyclists, and so forth, they're gobbling up leather just because that item on their apparel or their headwear says, I'm an outdoorsy person, I'm rugged. And that makes a wonderful sales opportunity for you all as you enter heat decorating. Okay, I'm going to take us out of this screen share, take us out of the PowerPoint, and get busy. John, you'll let me know if anything has come in so far. I suspect not. That is the part of the intro is not where I generally get a lot of questions, but as I start decorating, I'll try to speak to what's going on here. The type of cap, the type of logo, and some of the aspects of the press itself. As you can see, I've got it turned on its side here so that you can get a good view of it. Want you to note this area in through here, no post, no obstruction. That's where the name 360 comes from. It's going to allow you to rotate a hat in the instances where you want to do the sides and back and other locations, rotating around it without having to remove the hat. How awesome is that? If you're an embroiderer, unless you have a fancy embroidery machine that can embroider 270, I don't think they do 360 yet. You know what it's like to have to unhoop, hoop, unhoop, and reset and put in the hat each time. So with no post there, the 360 allows us to move the hat around in a circle. So that's just one feature I'll cover while I'm doing this hat, and I'll cover another, and that's the hold down. After I place that hat, I just activated this lever right here, and a nice spring-loaded arm came down and pulled the hat down, giving me a great shape, a great contour. The hat is now positioned snugly against our heated lower platen, and that is a key feature of this press that I will speak to more as I get into some of the heavier and thicker emblems and patches. So I'm going to hit this one with one of those new, more, I'll come this way so you all can see it maybe a little bit better. I'm going to hit with kind of a new, more modern location here. I see a lot of the youth, some of the skateboard, some of the youth categories, they're putting logos just about everywhere. All right. You can probably tell by the gray hair. I'm an older guy. Generationally, all our logos have been in the center. God bless them for having some fun and hitting new locations. That's that's part of the fun of apparel decorating generally. The product I'm putting on is called our soft flock. Flock over time has always been fuzzy on the surface. The fuzz itself has been brought down lower and lower and lower over generations of the product. And now we have one that I would consider or perhaps call peach fuzz, maybe suede, something else. But generally speaking, it's going to be a matte surface, and it's going to, raise up a little bit. I don't think I got quite enough heat onto it because I tricked this down a little bit, and I need to, each time I do a hat, I'm going to have to reset because each one incrementally goes up in temperature. So after pressing this one, we're going to raise the temperature for the next as I go along. You might notice I'm rubbing with a shop rag. It happens to be the sleeve off a test shirt. I suggest you do that so the adhesive that holds this logo to the hat has a moment to harden, bond, and become, the seal that we're looking for. Okay, so I've got a peach fuzz. I did not still hit it high enough with heat. You can see I'm loose here. I could go back and hit that. I probably will once I raise the temperature one more notch. But generally speaking, I've got a very matte finish, fuzzy surface, and I will hit that again because I'm not happy with that result, primarily because of my settings. This is an example of a hat I did during a private session. Again, a little hard for you to totally appreciate the flocked surface, but with the proper settings, I can get a bond, and I'm sure I will in just a minute. Okay.
Hey, Mark,
Yeah.
as you apply the hats, can you give a quick source on what they are, the types of hats, if it's a 112 or whatever?
I've got a handful of different brands and models that I don't necessarily know. I'll give you a description of the cap. Okay, so this is how they arrived to me. All right, this is a unstructured 6-panel adjustable tab dad hat. If you want to throw it in a category, give it a name, you get asked for a hat called a dad hat. This is that category where the hat just has no structure inside of it. It's floppity, it's flimsy. It's a very, very popular hat. Comes with a number of different types of buckles on the back. They can be plastic tabs. You can see this is a pull down buckle. You can have Velcro as well. So the dad hat category is huge. And it's not just dads. This could be the mom hat because they will wear these to sporting events or what have you, running and pull the ponytail out the back of the hat. So do learn and do know this category. This one happens to be from Port & Company, which is a Sanmar brand. I think I should probably point this one out as well. I'm not going to heat it because it's already done. This is another dad hat as long as I'm on the category, but I want to emphasize the full color aspect of our CAD prints heat transfer vinyl. All right. Those of you with printers, those of you that know the CAD prints category, either from Transfer Express or from Stahls, this is going to give you a full color option that will go over the seam of a 6-panel hat. I also put some glitter flake on the brim. So again, another heat transfer vinyl. Hitting the brim is not a problem. As long as I support the hat with one hand, I can come down with the press and hit that location as well. And that's part of my presentation, is to remind you, go get the extra sale, offer to do the extra locations because you can do it. Obviously the sides are part of the press. The brim can be part of it. You can even decorate the tab area. All right, let me move on to, I believe this cap is from Imperial Headwear. It is I'm going to call it a streetwear cap. This is the type more for the skateboarders, some of the bicycle enthusiasts, not necessarily the racers, but the ones that do the tricks. Certainly the beach scene, very flat brim, very high crown in a camo effect with a snapback. Okay, so we've got a trending, very popular, again, among the, I'm going to say the X Games or the extreme sport enthusiasts. Makes for a nice fit on our cap press. I mentioned our heated lower platen, and I should have increased my temperature while I was talking. Let me put some permatwill in there, see if I can get, I'm going to be a little bit low for just a moment. John, have any questions come through at all other than what type of cap I'm doing?
Sure. Dundee asked if you could demo putting the cap on slowly and placing the hat on the platen.
Sure.
Still struggling to get a flat surface.
Okay. So this is probably an owner of the press already. I don't know what you said, Lindy or Mindy, I'm not sure, but let's do this while my temperature comes up for the next transfer type. I can say that you can enter or approach from the side and pull towards you. In some instances, I'm taking it and bring it down and then towards me, but either way, it's coming towards me. In this case, where this sewn intersection of the brim and the hat is located, there's a wonderful crevice as part of the lower platen rubber that can seat into. So long as that is there, then I have a clear shot at hitting the brim with just the heat. All right. There are caps that are stiff, and one secret we used to use in my embroidery shop was to crack the crown. It's a simple matter of just bending and softening some of this material that's here. It's fresh out of the factory. You've got a sewn inside binding there, and that can be a little restrictive. That can cause this cap to be a little stiff. I can tell you that in the embroidery factories, they do this before hooping up a dozen hats and putting them in the embroidery machine, but they want to try to break this down as best as they can so they get a good conform before they throw the hoops on it. Well, we want to do the same thing here. We want to soften that hat up prior to it going in, so that when I pull down, I position the brim in this particular cap, because it does have a pillowy aspect to it. I'm going to push it down. With it pushed down, I'm going to activate the handle, and I'm going to get that hat held down nice and close, and hopefully with as little airspace as possible between the cap and that heated lower platen. Okay, that's a good conforming approach right there. Here again, I'm going to do one of those more fun locations, throw this in on an angle. I don't need to be boring myself by using that same old fashioned right down the middle location. I can go ahead and try this one. And again, I'm at 287 with 315 on the bottom. I'm running this at about 20 seconds. And again, in hopes that this twill will bond. I might be pushing it or rushing it a little bit, but hopefully we get a good attachment on this one. If not, I would come back and readdress my settings real quickly. If I knew I was doing an all-day run of perma-twill or a flock, the one where I had the failure before, I would certainly get my settings just perfect. But bear with me. If you're in a shop that does a different hat every minute and a half, you'd understand what we go through during these seminars. So that is a great attachment. Again, kind of a fun streetwear location. This is our perma-twill, which is a sublimated version of your art onto a woven twill, laser cut, so no fray. And you can heat apply it with confidence that will resemble a patch at a really reasonable price. I think on average, this is sold at approximately 20 cents a square inch, depending on the size of your design, which fortunately for us in hat decorating, the designs are generally speaking on the small side. So we get to get good, inexpensive logos to put on hats. All right, I'm going to move on to a performance hat. Here again, I've got Imperial Headwear. This is a hat that I would personally wear when I'm on my free time, fishing and golf are a couple of my things to do. This is a nice, lightweight, but this is a problematic hat for a lot of decorating because of the high heat aspect. If you don't have the Cap 360 and you aren't introducing heat from the bottom up, you have to apply all your temperatures from the top. Predecessors to this press, all heat came downward. If you hit this hat with too much heat in a downward direction, you are certainly going to scorch this. I guarantee it. This is a poly performance outer fabric. You will get a sports scorch box. Because we're coming at this logo from the inside out, I doubt there will be a scorch, but if there is, it would be on the inside, right? And no one cares. On the outside, I'm going to have the opportunity to protect this entire hat with a white foam protector that we provide with the hat purchase or with the press purchase. and I'll get no scorching. Here again, in order to do this one, I better go ahead and click my time up just a little bit. This would take all day if I did all the exact and waited for all the exact changes for all of these variety of logos. But we're going to get this one done with just a little bump up in the time. Okay, while that's locked down, I'll point out another feature that I like. The ergonomics of this handle coming down and being low allows me to have my mass, my weight pushing downward. It's a great handle design. You'll notice that there's very little welds in through that area. This is water jet cut steel. We've got a great quality shock absorber. In 3 seconds, we'll lift that up quick and smooth for me. Not herky jerky, not jumping off the table, not slow, helps my production, and just a quality piece of equipment all around. Okay, and so now we've got one of our Flex Style logos and several features going on in this Flex Style logo that you just will not get with embroidery is that fine detail, right? That marlin would be very hard to even know what it is at that size. This fish might be a salmon or something else, but this fine detail and those little letters, very hard to capture with any other decorating method other than a Flex Style molded emblem. There's something else going on here. I don't know if the camera shows it or not, but this is our clear version. This is actually allowing this pattern of fish that are on this hat to show through the emblem. Okay, mostly these emblems are opaque. They've got metallics and other cool features. That is something new to me. Let's go ahead and repress this now that I've got more temp coming through it. That thing is sitting there staring at me, just saying, do this right, Mark, do this right.
Mark, that brings up a great question. Are there do's and don'ts if the transfer doesn't set and you have to reheat it? That's from Melissa.
Yeah, so what happens, what the problem is will kind of determine whether you go back to it or not. If you pull it away and it happens to touch itself, it'll weld itself together. It's done. You might be able to, if it's been able to pull away, there is a chance that you can get it all the way away and start again with another one. In this case, the bottom area appears to have received just about enough heat. It was this top section that I'm loose, but able to just push it back down. I like that, again, it's getting heat right now from the lower platen, which makes it a little bit maneuverable, makes it also almost want to start bonding, a little bit of tackiness while it sits there. So if I'm gentle with my rubber cover, that arm or area of that logo that did not bond should be in better shape. But yeah, there are times where you just got to abandon it. Trying to think of a situation where you would just say, you know, I've got to scrap the hat and the logo. You know, horrible if it moved terribly and a portion of it was bonded and a portion of it wasn't. You wouldn't be able to just pull it away. But as you can see, I just went back and did it for essentially the whole time. And I'm now satisfied that I could deliver that. Okay, so that gap or that area that was open and not bonded right there is now nicely bonded and fused to the hat. Okay. Let me plow on. We're at a point in time where I need to probably even speed it up a little bit. I'm just going to touch on this. This is another version of what I would call a dad hat or an unstructured low crown, sloping low crown. Fits very snug and tight to the head. The feature that I'll point out on the press while I do this is the touch screen. You saw me making changes down here. So down here at my belly is the Fusion touchscreen. That allows me to store my times and temperatures for popular products, have them close at hand, and kind of zoom in on what works best for the variety of products that you can do with this cap press. You might find some specialty settings that you need to do, like rhinestones. We don't deal in rhinestones, so we really don't have a setting for you. Once you find out what that is, you can manually put it in and store it for whatever works best for you to do rhinestones. As we develop new products, you'll be able to add a couple of pages of presets. So we have the most well-built and most modern version of a hat press, frankly, in the world. Here, ready for you to access. This is an embroidered patch. I'll speak a little bit about the product. That's an embroidered patch with the heat backing. So again, it just needs to be heat pressed. And let me punch out the last one because this is the fastest growing product in the emblems and patches category. I'm going to raise this and get us a good full 30-second on leather. And again, I mean, hate to keep saying dad hat. It's just sort of the design, the mesh back, the Velcro tab. This one has a sanded brim on it where they purposely touched this up to a sanding belt and knocked it down to make it look rugged and like it's been worn for years and years and years. It is brand new. You can see I've probably put myself in the habit of entering from the front and pulling back and down for the question that you had about how I load. I really wasn't thinking about it. So obviously I've got a habit developing of coming in the front. It really doesn't matter if you want to come in the side, from the left, from the right, what have you. That's probably, maybe I come in from the middle because I'm ambidextrous. I don't know. I'm not left-handed or right-handed. And let's see, we're going to play and have some fun with this one. Yeah, I kind of like that off the side. It's what I see everywhere, so I'm going to stick with it. And let me go ahead. Now, I mentioned this. These do come with it. There's 3 thicknesses. By far and away, the 1/8 inch is the most popular. This is your buffer. This is your protector from the heat, leaving a scorch mark or a box on your cap. So when you're going to apply high heat and do it for 30 seconds, you're going to want to experiment with covering and protecting your cap, especially those polyester performance caps that are so popular. I have a list of tips about how to sell and market and how to plan for your entry into hat selling and hat decorating. I'm going to go through here as soon as this opens. Got 10 seconds for that to go. But you're going to need to approach this similarly to maybe a t-shirt business, except that I'd like for you to consider caps and cap decorating to be more of a premium than a t-shirt. Put it in the category with your polos, your performance outerwear, your warm-up jackets, your backpacks and things like that. Because at the end, we're going to talk about pricing. And in the resources section of the Pathable main section, the main page, you're going to be able to open and get a price guide that we put together. And so your draw doesn't hit the floor. We shot for the sky. I mean, we want you to try to get a premium price for a premium product, a premium looking hat, premium logo, unique locations and applications, things that'll separate your caps from the run of the mill, the same way I would want you to do that with t-shirts as well. So I would suggest, and these are going to be some of my tips, emulate the big boys. Pay attention to what's on the street. See what the big boys like a Nike, like Titleist in golf, like New Era Headwear, the big boys in the licensed world. They own the license for Major League Baseball, the NFL, the NBA teams, and numerous others. Observe what they're doing. If you're in an airport, go into the retail store and see what's on the shelves, see what kind of decorating they're pushing out there. They get top dollar. Granted, they pay for expensive licenses and things like that, but it's what your hat customers, people like me, hats are primarily sold to men, right? And men don't mind paying more for a good looking modern cap. So go for separation from the simple hat. See if you can get a top dollar for a really good looking hat that you don't have to put a ton of investment into. Caps are not expensive. The emblems are not expensive. And I just proved the time to apply them is not that long. You can still go for it. You don't have to give these away. Go into the resources area again. You'll find some other things. I actually posted my entire itinerary in there because at the end of it, I've got some cap brands for you to investigate as suppliers and vendors to go find and get your hats and have a real nice selection that you can present to your customers. Do your logo first, right? Get on our website, upload a logo of your own or someone you know real well, a top client, a friend's company, somebody that you can spend a little bit of money, get some return on it. They won't go to waste, especially if they're your logo, and just get them out in position, right? Get some of these dad caps and get your logo on them so you don't feel bad about giving this cap out. Get the higher end cabs so when you're dealing with a kind of a hat nut like myself, you're giving them a cap that they'll wear, that they'll talk about, they'll spread the word on your behalf. So do try your own logo or that of a tried and true customer of yours, a relative or somebody else. Try a bundle philosophy, right? So try taking a hat and a polo and bundling together. You can use the same patch on both. You could easily be putting this on the left chest of a polo and on a hat. That way you're ordering more of these. Each one will cost a little bit less. You bundle the package together. You set a $50 target for the 2 items or whatever it is you put together. Try the bundle approach. Make it a little tougher for your competition to just come in and say, I can do that, just for a quarter less expensive. Make them work a little bit. See if they know where to get these. See if they have a hat press that can apply these. If they don't, you're going to get the $50 sale. Go where caps are sold. Make yourself present at golf tournaments. Help sponsor one. Maybe give the tournament directors a great price to get your caps and all the goodie bags and things like that. Start spreading the word. Go to outdoor events, runs, biking events. If you happen to be in the climate for skiing, get out there, get some caps that have leather on them and use them. Use them as your almost business card to let everybody know that you now do a quality cap for their company, their event, their business. Look into the caps being made by your vendor with your branding, right? It is not that crazy a thing. You don't have to go order so many of them that it's prohibitive. If you know of a model of cap and a color or color combinations that will definitely sell well for you, I would say you could order 144 of them. If you can order 144 of them, then there are manufacturers out there that will do the banding and the internal labeling and things like that for you. Now, this is a fairly well-known and rather large fishing tackle company, right? So, big deal. This same type of labeling can go in your hats if you align yourself up with a manufacturer that'll do it. And one or more of them are on my list. If you'd like to write this one down, check out Puka, P-U-K-K-A, Headwear. They will put your branding inside, and then you can put your friends' company logos and things on the outsides. Let's see, and make sure you're using your current cutter or printer or the ordering that you're doing from Stahls to do your own logos. Inside the cutter section, you can be cutting numerous products. I showed you the soft flock. We have soft foam, which is elevated and rubber-like. We have silicone, which is elevated, does not diamigrate, even maybe a little more rubbery-like. You've got all kinds of heat transfer vinyl options like glitter flake, metallics, and things like that for the bling category that you can currently cut on your own cutter in conjunction with this hat press and be doing hats right away. If you're fortunate enough to have a printer, I've already showed you that full color logo for the Graffiti Lounge. You could be manufacturing those in-house and pumping those out very inexpensively for your promotional products, promoting your own business, whatever you like for that. And then also make sure to leverage Stahls for the emblems, the patches, and our cutting services. All right. John, where do we stand on questions? Any more pour in while I was giving some of those tips and thoughts of my own?
Yep, I'm going to give you a couple. Multiple people asked if there's a rule of thumb that goes with placement above the bill. How far up from the bill, and then your actual area of application, how big the logo realistically can be on the hat.
Okay.
Um,
My opinion on the heights of the logo is 2.25. I could take you a little higher than that, but you'd have to be super precise because of where the heat is located on this. If you were not needing the lower heat, say it was a heat transfer vinyl, say it were this logo, you might be able to go a little larger up into the 2.5 zone because the heat from the top can be enough to activate and bond this one. But let's just stay within 2.25, under 2.5, and 5 wide. Okay, you're going to get some designs maybe that would be more than 5 inches wide. That would be okay if you were skilled enough to heat and rotate and heat again. You might start to wrap a design around. I'm not sure how much you'd want to do it. Things can move. You might get a little crease where the first pressing stopped and the second one went. So just I would think in terms of 2.25 to right out to about 5. For the designs, I don't know that there is a tried and true method. I guess I'm lucky enough that I've done thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of hats over 3 decades, and I just can kind of look at it and go for it. I can't say that it's 2 fingers, 3/4 of an inch, or what have you. You may have to have just observed for yourself again what's out at retail. That one as opposed to that one. Okay, the point of that one is a good bit closer. But I put it on a wacky angle that I wouldn't normally do. I've got plenty of room, so to sort of go up on that angle. No rule of thumb. I would say you're gonna have to determine where it's gonna fit on the head. Take a cap, put it on somebody else. I do this all the time, or recommend it all the time for polos. The left chest location on shirt decorating is the toughest. It's the worst, and it's bungled the most by decorators. So I say put the shirt on somebody. Well, in this case, put the hat on somebody, stand back and tape the logo. Have them take the hat off, put it on you, have them look at you. Yes, looks good. Yes, looks good. Okay, let's go to the hat press. We're going to put the hat on the same location every time. And now we know if we wanted to take a measurement as to where this is located, we can, right? Because I'm going to set that intersection of the brim and the crown essentially in the same spot every time. I can now use a little measuring device once I've determined it visually and taped the first one in place. I now have a template to go on with. Okay.
all right, inside and out, the lower and upper part of the bill, can you decorate those?
Yeah, I don't see why you couldn't do the underside. I mean, most hats have a pre-curved, pre-formed plastic brim. You can see this curvature there. I don't know that you'd want to get it flattened out too much and for too long, but you certainly could get it under here and hit it with a small logo. I already demonstrated the top. Let me see if I just have something handy here. Let's grab this right here. So by holding this hat just by myself, placing this where I want it, I think I would cover it, in this case, maybe with paper so that heat can get down from the top. I'm not going to penetrate the brim for sure. Time for my free tip of the day, right, John? The old champagne glass or coffee mug. When you're going to run logos, it's nice if they come out and go over to the hat press with a pre-curvature. That's roughly the shape of this, right? So when I go over and I want to cover something, if my logos have all been stored in a glass like that or a coffee mug or something, they will come out with a nice curvature. They won't be fighting me wanting to stay flat and spring and move and that sort of thing. So in this case, you saw where I paused there. I went and grabbed one of my pre-curved covers, and hopefully it will help me stay right there. I just want to protect the brim. And I'm not working with tape nearby. Let me go back and give that a little bit more curvature, see if it'll cooperate with me. To answer the question even further, if you have a shirt press and it happens to be one of our Hotronix models there, and you feel like you're going to do a lot of brims, visors, whatever you like to call them, we do have a platen, specialized platen, just for the visors of caps. If that's going to be big for you, investigate the platen. That'll drop into your regular heat press. If you're going to do it this way in limited production, this is how you would go about it. Okay.
10-minute mark. And do you have, what's your thoughts on the flat bill? You think they're coming back?
I'm not going to say they've run their course. Most things do, especially in the streetwear category. Kids are constantly trying to reinvent what looks cool, or what, I don't have kids in that age group anymore. I think that if I were to pay attention, I'd be looking at categories like the surf market, the music markets, and what the groups and the performers are wearing. Pay attention to that. I think, like anything else, it's a way of saying I'm separated from the norm. I want something a little different. Well, after we see different for so long, it's almost a norm. I would say it's not too long before flat brim, high crown caps go through an evolution, similar maybe to tube socks and long basketball shorts. I don't know when the shorts are going to start coming back, but hey, everything comes back around. I've been in the sporting goods industry and in the garment decorating industry to see things take turns all the time. So get ready for maybe a slide. I wouldn't go buying a container of flat brim hats if I were you right now. I want to point out, so that I can make sure I get through them, some other things you might be able to consider decorating. If we get back to where we're all wearing masks again, you can decorate masks quick and easily on a hat press, this one or others. They fit wonderfully on here. They will heat press, and you can go drop in logos on a lot of different locations of face masks. Don't forget specialty caps, right? You've got all kinds of outdoorsy specialty caps that can fit on this cap press. Take advantage of that. Again, separate yourself. Go show your customers, something cool and new. If you're in this climate, this is a big item that gets ignored. Go sell these. They're out there. They're not real expensive. Bucket caps. You can probably decorate this, frankly, and in almost, every location. I could hit the top of this. I could certainly hit this banding area here. I could hit the brim that goes all the way around. This bucket cap could get decorated everywhere. Do not forget this market. Okay, this already has the appropriate 3M reflective banding on it. Put some more reflective on it. Get some logoing on there. Put the company name somewhere on here in a transfer. This is big business. It's out there, and it's going to get bigger. Decorate these caps. Find them and decorate them. This is not necessarily, this is just to prove you can do an awful lot. This is our leather patch with the 3M adhesive backing on it. This is not needing to be heat pressed, but I did use this press as a lever, or an anvil, if you will, to apply pressure to that sticky gummy adhesive enough to force it and make it stick. This particular hat has been put through a lot. It's still bonding on there enough to where I'm happy it's not going to fall off. I think if I wanted to get real aggressive and just really start getting mad at that logo, I could pull it off, right? It's a sticky adhesive. It's not a hot melt glue adhesive. But if you think you can get some sales in this and you can prove a point, jump in, get a sample order of the leather patch or something else with the stickier gummy backing rather than the hot melt glue backing, and give it a try. If you're the only one around decorating those, then that's a market you can go capture. All right, so I've done all my samples. I've covered a bunch of my tips. I'm going to give you some takeaways because I'm at the 4:44 mark. First
Mark,
of all, yes,
we're gonna ask you one more question before.
Yes, sir.
It looked like you used multiple covers on your hats that you did? Some white, looked like some gray. It looked like you were wiping it down.
Yep.
Willie wants to know what those differences are.
Okay. Differences here are thicknesses. First of all, these are all basically nothing will stick to these. They're coated, they're siliconized. The foam rubber is slick to where your logos won't bond to them. The reason I changed them in and out is quickly in my mind, I analyzed, okay, is this a design or a logo where I do need to get some heat from the top to hit and go through the logo? And that's where I chose craft paper. We sell this at Stahls in 25 sheet packs. It's very inexpensive, especially because you can cut it down to size. Occasionally you'll get a stain from a logo and you might have to almost use these as disposable, but it's not so expensive that you can't. So this is a cover that will protect your hat, but allow heat to penetrate from the top as well as the bottom. This is the next level up. So when I'm using this one, I am expecting the heat from the bottom to have the most effect in melting our hot melt adhesives. So I keep this on hand, again, to protect the top face of the logo and the cap if it's made out of a material that might scorch or leave a mark. So this is a good buffer and a good item to use as a cover. Now, the full shebang is the white foam rubber, and we provide 3 thicknesses with the press. And again, this is for a couple of reasons to fully protect the top of the hat when we're going to have a really long lockdown time, 20, 25, 30, 35 seconds of top heat in conjunction with bottom heat is going to scorch a lot of hats. So we want this down long enough to get a good bond from the lower heat. We better protect the hat with something like this. This has the added benefit of giving a shock absorber area for the designs and the logos that we want to be pillowy and puffed up to absorb into. We want flex style, we want 3D puff embroidery, leather and what have you to stick up. We can't be smashing down on it. So it embeds itself into these various thicknesses of the rubber. Okay. Quickly, I want to leave everybody with these takeaways. Stahls is here for you every day, and we always have been. You got people like myself and a whole team of outside sales reps, inside sales reps, highly trained customer service. We, as you hopefully have gathered from today's events, tomorrow's events, if you've been to Stahls TV, you know Stahls, all of our companies are here to help you be as successful as possible in this venture, be it a new one, the addition of a new piece of equipment, the introduction of a new product line. Stahls just are known, and we take great pride in helping you be as successful as possible. Hopefully that message is getting through loud and clear. Headwear is big business. I don't think even we knew what we could do in headwear when this device got launched. It's mind-boggling where we sit right now compared to where we were a year ago, and the future is very, very bright. People are picking up their second and their third. They're writing testimonials on our behalf or just out in the blogosphere about how much hat business they've been able to gain. It's there for you. This is not a big investment. You need this press, you need some cover sheets, and then the rest starts falling into place. You need hat vendors, and then you need companies like Stahls and Transfer Express to supply you with the emblems and the patches. It's right there for you to go get, and it can be quite good. Push headwear in places where ladies will see it, right? And so you're thinking, Mark, you said the hat market is men's. Of all of my hats, my personally owned caps, I can only think of one that I bought. This is a gift from my daughter. This is a gift from my mother. This is one I bought myself, right? It's just, it's like the shirt business in that the ladies are the consumers. They're going to buy for the men in their lives, and they know that men are fairly particular about their hats. So they will spend 20, 30, 35, $40 on a good looking, well-fitting, well-made hat. And you can provide those now. So advertise, promote, get out on your social media where lots of ladies will see what you're up to, and they will buy for the men in their lives. Cover price points on a good, better, best scenario. I pointed out, sorry to come off camera. I pointed out these, okay? These are gonna sell or can sell from wherever you wanna start the price. I would suggest $5.95 as the bare minimum, and probably in the $9.95 zone. This cap costs around $1.50, $1.75. The logo on these caps is under $1. If you can get $5.95 and a promotional level, because you're doing a lot of them and that'll make you happy and make you enough money to do the job, go for it. I would suggest trying for $7.95. You can come back down if you choose. I would go to $9.95 if you were selling online, one at a time. When you jump up into a more premium hat with a premium logo, mid to premium logo, I think the market holds $14.95. Maybe $16.95. When you take this next step to a full premium hat, perhaps a branded hat. If this hat had the Nike logo on the side and a golf course logo on the front, I would say the bare minimum would be $24.95. Where the cap costs you about $6, the logo costs you about $4. You're above typical retail Keystone if you go to $24.95. If you go higher than that, bless you. Write me a thank you letter. So, joking, of course. So I'm going to encourage you, take a really good look at it. I'm going to state right now, like so many things, we do have a back order on the press. Get in line. Don't be bashful. Place your order. Contact me in the chat. Go straight to our website. Get an order placed so that you're there. If you suddenly cancel in 3 weeks, 4 weeks, change your mind or whatever, the person behind you in line should write you a thank you note because they're going to get theirs a little bit faster. But people are lining up for these. We have a back order and we have a brief supply line issue to getting them out quick, but it's there. It's not changing. Hats aren't going anywhere. Take advantage of this great opportunity by ordering a cap press really, really soon. End of the week would be ideal, so we don't sell too many ahead of you. Anything else coming through there, John?
Nope, that's about it, and pretty much out of time. So
okay, go to the next one. Kelly will be teaching you how to do bags, another great category. You can make money, caps and bags. It's there for you to go get. Go to the resources area. I have posted 10 hat manufacturers that I have worked with in the past. You can do this. We're here to help. Thanks for attending.